Mabuhay and good day to everybody. This is Ronald Bugarin from Parallel Session C, reporting for Module 1, Part 3 of 12. My previous groupmates have discussed on the meaning and nature of development, and in my report, I will try to define what development is through existing issues and trends. The focus of my discussion will be on trends and issues of development, as well as the difference between production centered and people centered development. So to start with, majority of scholars have varied and different concepts in defining development. One concept can be different from another scholar since this can be shaped by either value, beliefs, or political way of thinking, and it tends to become ambiguous. It can also evolve due to economic factors, cultural, as well as technological advancements and policy reforms. Viewing development requires blending measurable outcomes with lived realities across disciplines. Some view development as significant changes in the existing structure of society over a long period of time and have broader view. Communities tend to change over time whether it be due to economic growth or societal changes. One clear example of this type of development happened during the pandemic when everybody had to shift to digital online to be able to go about their lives, whether it be to have a business online through live selling or to just be able to connect with their loved ones through social media. These platforms have also revolutionized how we interact with each other by being able to interact with a huge number of people using social media. So even until now that the pandemic has already done, we are still in the midst of using these digital platforms in going about our lives and also putting development in the community. Another perspective in development is one based on measurable outcomes, such as poverty reduction or sustainable development goals or SDG over a short or medium term. This type of development is appealing to policymakers and aid agencies as it can be easily measured and outcomes are clearly defined. There is actually a specific time frame on when these SDGs or poverty reduction plans has to be met. Since it is focused on outcomes of the changes, the outlook may be short and the goals are not considering the views or priorities of the greater majority, since some of the sustainable goals might not be able to cover at least a huge portion of the many problems that the society or community faces. Postmodern concept of development views that Western influences and practices are the modern ideas that define what should be considered as third world. So since majority of these Westerners are colonizers of a third world country, the discourses for this type of development views that global south are considered third world and inferior and would need Western ideology that are far more superior and modern. So the thinking that the Western have a better or modern way of thinking as compared to the Orientals is what this development idea is trying to espouse. This kind of view, however, tend to ignore local values, identities, as well as cultural heritage of a certain community, since what is superior is only those that are coming from the West. There is also the concept of production centered or growth centered development, which prioritizes economic growth such as increase of gross national or domestic products over human well being. This concept was popular over after the World War II since majority of the countries then are still adjusting to their independence from colonial rule as well as recuperating from the impact of the war. So definitely the concept of development though during those times is to of course be able to come up with means or livelihood to be able to sustain the daily needs that they have during that time. This development principle is wealth driven, where the barometer of success and development is measured in terms of monetary value. It mainly focuses on infrastructure and policies for efficiency and modernization of achieving industrial output. So the goal here is to modernize or have the latest technology in order to have a bigger output or income. People-centered development, on the other hand, rejects the colonial concept of development, where common people are treated as laborers and that money and economic value are the only measure of success and value in life. It is human-focused process of ensuring all communities can sustain a quality of life based on tangible and intangible resources available to them. This can either be provided by the government or even by the community themselves. It also highlights human concepts such as economic justice, moral responsibility, environmental protection, and community involvement. It should serve the people's needs and choices and prioritizes cultural and indigenous way of thinking. The people are actually the stakeholders and active drivers instead of passive beneficiary of development. And they are the ones also who are suggesting the means on how to achieve this kind of development. So, in essence, the people themselves are the ones charting or being able to plan whatever development they want for their community. Defining development is both multidimensional and value laden as it is now evolving as a cross-disciplinary study concerned with both structural and subjective aspects of human well-being. From the concept of an economic and output-based way of thinking, it has now shifted into making the people the center of development. They are the ones who are making the means in order to have a development, especially for their community. It should be culturally grounded, critical, and participatory in nature for it to be long-lasting and sustainable for all. And definitely, the people has to be able to contribute in order for them to achieve this kind of development. My group mate will also further discuss the difference between production-centered and people-centered development. And of course, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the discussion and of course your idea of development. These are also my references that are flashed on screen, and thank you very much for watching my report and have a pleasant day ahead.